So Sonny, we were just talking over the table there, and I was gonna start doing some questions, and of course, we had the opportunity for anybody to ask questions, as well, but I want to start by just how you got started.
Well, it was natural for me. I was born in 5 generations. So.
5 generations, okay. You know, in the exhibit, we had, pictures of Leon's camp, and so your grandfather, and, so it goes further back than that.
Well, I stayed in that camp when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bunch of us kids was our grandma and grandpa was there too. We slept downstairs and we slept upstairs. The cabin, to look in the picture, didn't look like it even had an attic or anything, but it did have an attic.
Did you go and stay at that camp seasonally, like were there for weeks at a time?
No. No. I just can't remember. Just a bunch of us kids were there and we stayed the night with grandfather and grandmother.
So you were actually at that point, driving in, working the day, a shift in there, and then coming back home and staying?
Well, no, they lived there.
Oh,
My
they
grandfather and grandmother.
Oh, okay. And that was up in Jersey?
Yep, well, the other side of the
Okay.
But they lived there, but not steady, because he had jobs all over. He done logging and for different big logging contractors, and then he done farm work too. So he was like a helper for the farmer, and the helper when he ever went in the logging for a logging contractor. Well, that was
so he would do that like in the winter? Is that
no, he didn't have a farm of his own.
Okay.
No, he had quite a lot of land out back of the cabin there to cook out when he wanted to.
And of course, then your father, who's legendary around here as far as logging, took it over from him, and he was a full-time logger.
Well, pretty much. He had a farm too up in Bargo Hill.
Okay.
But he done more logging than he did farming.
Yeah, one of the things I heard in interviewing a bunch of the different people is that nearly everybody worked for your father at one point or another.
Quite a few of them around the area did.
Yeah.
I think we have another logger coming.
Oh, great.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, now you don't want to share the same.
Yes, the pressure's off, Dad.
You're not off the hook. We still need more stories from you.
Oh, yeah.
So, Sonny was just telling what I was going to start with everybody, which is how you got started. Now, for Sonny's end of it, it goes back generations for him. You, it was a little bit different.
Yeah, just cutting on the firewood, I guess, and
You gotta use the mics, so now I can't hear.
Oh, somebody, okay. Well, can you turn the overall so I don't have to deal with,
Yeah, you can use that one,
can't hear them?
but can't hear them.
Okay, so can you turn the overall up? You have control of
I
it.
can try turning it up as long as it doesn't get too far out.
Okay, yeah, just try a little bit. See.
Give it a shot and then
Hello.
I'll turn it up.
Okay. This is a first time here trying to use things, so we're getting the technical stuff. So. All good, Mr. Technician? Hello? We should be okay.
It'd be better.
Okay, going. We'll adjust from back there. So you said your father farmed in the morning and then went out?
yeah, he had a job. He worked at the feed store. My mother worked out.
Do you know, did it go back further than your father? Farming? Logging?
No. My uncle did. He drove truck for Sonny's dad. And I was kind of interested in, just riding with him and being around him, the logging end. And that's probably got me started more than now.
Yeah, we were just talking to Sonny about how nearly everybody at one point or another worked for his dad.
Oh, yeah.
So,
he was pretty popular fella.
yeah.
Just not like Sonny.
Well, if you kept people employed, then that's probably a good thing. So.
Yeah, I had a lot of good times with it.
We'll get you a chance.
Some we won't talk about.
Those stories that you can share, we'll get to those. But those the nice right now. So
I got a picture of a truck loaded with tent, you know.
Yeah, I got the same picture there. Was your dad? Your dad?
They had standing in front of the truck with the road.
Yeah, old the Blue Goose.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was a good picture.
Yeah.
just like Sonny's family, Bill gave us a bunch of pictures which are displayed down at the Frisbee house. I mentioned to people that we're still open. Tomorrow's the last day that it's open, so if you want to come by and see some of the things that these gentlemen are talking about, please stop on by between 1 and 3 tomorrow. So yeah, we're starting to talk about camps and like that, and Sonny, didn't really have much of a time staying long term in a camp for the season. Did you ever have to do that, or did you mostly?
Oh, a couple jobs. I had one farthest away probably was down by Scotia. I rented a camping trailer to stay down there, like maybe 3 nights a week, and then come back home for a couple nights. Just too far to drive,
Yeah.
one way.
Now, one part I heard, Sonny, that your father had converted school buses?
That was up in Jerseyville, wasn't it? I remember Utica Transit buses.
Yeah.
And they use them as places to cook?
Yeah, we had two. We had one with the cook shack and one with the bunks. So I can't remember how many bunks we had in the bunk bed bus. I think there was something like 6 or 8, something like that. Quite sure. But what was bad was that 20 below zero, we didn't have any insulation on the inside of the buses. And you could reach out and across. And if your bed rolled over, or your blanket rolled over, sometimes it tried to yank them away from the wall. And we couldn't because they were frozen to the wall. Everybody hollered, put on another log on the fire. That wasn't enough either. But loggers are supposed to be tough, but I don't know about them being very tough, as I think they're dumber than they are tough.
Well, I mean, nowadays, Bill and I were talking over at his house about the technology that's introduced itself. I mean, you've got air conditioned cabs,
Yeah.
Everything's mechanical.
Yeah, it's
We're just a thing of the past.
Yeah.
We'll be like
well, and also if you were up there doing it with teams, you probably would be there for the season because you're not going to haul the horses back and forth for the whole thing. With trucks, you can drive yourself home and get a good night's sleep. So that's great. It's part of the
Horses got to tend to it.
What's that?
I said you had to tend to the horses.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that part of it.
I had a little bit of touch on it.
Yeah.
But, the tractors, the log loaders and stuff, you didn't have to feed them.
Gotta feed them a little gas and fuel. Feed them gas and fuel on.
So, Sonny, most of yours was trucks and tractors, I guess, back in when you were starting out. Roughly when was this? The 40s you started out?
No, well, I've been around it, I mean,
Yeah.
as a kid, but I didn't do any work until or log it for myself until, I think, 1952 or 53.
And a little bit later than that for you, Bill?
Yeah, I was in the 70s,
Oh,
early 70s. Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
He's a great fisherman, I know that.
Yeah, I was until you cut my pole off in the propeller. Remember that? We was up in Canada and fishing. We snuck over on that Yatma fishing game up there.
Yeah.
And we put the plane down and just let it on that little between 2 lakes, right? The river went down through there, the water, and it would float down through just like we were trolling in the boat. So Sonny was on one side of the pontoon, and I was on the other one, and I didn't bring much tackle with me. I just had my pole and spinner right there. And it was a brand new tack pole I bought from Leo Swank when he had the
Yeah.
sport shop down there. And anyways, I got caught on the rock. I could see the spinner there, and I said, "Hey, Sonny, I'm snagged." He said, "I don't want to lose it." He said, "Wait a minute, I'll start the plane up and go right ahead of it and get it." It's okay. The propeller going, you don't even notice it. I got up kind of close to my yanked it like that, and busted the pole right off the propeller.
Yeah.
That was into my new ball.
If he hadn't listened to me and I'd listened to him, we would have saved the pole. But we would have had lost the lure, which would have been, you know, okay, we would have been ahead of the game then. We would have had a pole.
Yeah. Yeah. Another time he was up there and him and I was in the boat fishing. I remember, I don't know if I got a hold of the truck and I yanked it like it and broke the line and lost my spinner, so I put another one on. Gosh, about an hour later, there was no one else was there. He caught a fish with my spinner was in his mouth. I got it back. Guess that trout must have been pretty hungry.
See, even fish get retired.
So what you're talking about here is a big part of logging are people who just love the outdoors. Is that the impression I got from all of
Oh, yeah.
And so that even like when you weren't working, you're doing outdoor stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Hunting, fishing,
Yeah.
hiking, whatever.
No, once you got done with the logging day, you wouldn't want to hike.
You didn't want to like it. You had no like it.
You didn't want to jog back to the camp.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Bob brought up a topic that I was going to get into, and you know, there's every logger that I've talked to in this situation here's had stories of bad situations they got themselves into. Over in the exhibit, we have plenty of pictures of trucks tipped over and equipment flooded, you know, when the stream came up and you weren't ready for it, and there's all just sorts of things like that. Bill told us a real harrowing story that if you're willing to recount it, you had a bad day, let's put it that way.
No, which one was that? Which day?
This is when the tree fell on your foot. That one.
I was on the side hill. Of course, it was in the summertime, really hot. It was a big hemlock, and I see it was going to fall right where it was going to go, and there was a dead basswood tree. Well, it was pretty good size. It was all rotten. Broke off, and I said, heck, I ain't going to worry about that. When it hits that, it'll smash that right down. But it was, like a little creek bed right to where the washout was there. So when I cut the tree, it fell. I didn't pay really much attention to it. I said, well, the next thing I happened to look up, here comes that, it hit right onto that stub that was left, and it come right back, the whole tree. Right back to me, up, and I was uphill. So I run to the side, but I wasn't quite fast enough. I got one leg and my ankle anyways. I had the chainsaw, and it smashed the chainsaw down the bar. But the saw was, well, within reach. And the shape I was in, I was laying like this, and I couldn't move my leg. And Jake, I was just I tried to dig out with my hand, and the clay was so hard, and I couldn't do nothing. Jake, after all this time, my leg started to get, it was so heavy, the tree was so heavy, I had no feeling in my leg at all. And I said, boy, down toward the bottom of my leg, I said, boy, if I don't get out of here, I'm going to lose my foot. So Jake, I get a little nervous, so I had a jackknife in my pocket. Well, anyways, first I said, geez, I'll see if I can get that chainsaw and cut a block right off my foot. So I got the chainsaw, of course, the bar is bent right.
Oh, jeez.
But anyways, I went to start the chainsaw and there was nothing in the trigger. Remember the linkage on the old Husqvarna? A little small linkage in there.
Yeah.
When that tree fell out, it was right inside of the carburetor. Of course, the old style, we had to have four screws to take top off. Shoot, I didn't have no screwdriver. Now the ones today, you can unsnap them. So I had that old jackknife, and pretty sharp. I took and cut that plastic right off the top of the saw. I took the saw over and I got the linkage. Put the linkage back on, Jeepers, I got the trigger to work. I started the saw up and it run, chain turned, but boy, just, you know, off so crooked. So I kept, the way I was laying there, it was just awkward. I kept sawing. Jeepers, well, I was gaining on it, and I started pinching it this way, so I started undercutting it. And Jeepers, I said, boy, I think I'm getting it. I could feel it. Pretty soon the saw started revving it up. I knew it was like gas. So I kept shaking it back and forth. Jeepers, the block fell off, about 4-foot block. I rolled down that hill. I thought, boy, I'll feel better now. Oh my gosh, that hurt worse than ever then. So Jeepers, I couldn't stand on it. So before I had my story, I guess, because after I'd cutting the top off of that saw, I missed the saw, run that knife in my arm there, above my wrist. Of course, it must have hit a vein, but it needed blood all over. Everything's so sticky that to try to work with anything, you couldn't. Then I'm getting nervous as if I don't lose my leg, I'm going to bleed down. But it was probably worse than that lock or whatever. Anyways, I tried to make a cross, pick it up, and stairs down the hill. And anyway, I made a cut sure, and the beaver that broke. I went on my hands and knees, and then all them thorns, them wallflower rolls there, the green ones with the fish up down. Oh, got in a bunch of them. In my legs, my hands, oh, must have been lots of cussing. I got to the skidder anyways. I got up to the farm, the farmer, he put corn in the silo. And he see me there, he comes and says, "You all right?" I said, "Well, I just hurt my foot." I said, "I'll be all right." He said, "I'll take you down to the hospital." I said, "No, I'll be all right." So he said, "He wouldn't let me drive home." He took me home. I laid on the couch there till my wife came home that night. And finally went to the doctor. I guess it was, I don't know if it was the next morning, I think. He x-rayed it and busted the bones in the small bones in your foot. Really nothing he could, had to put one of the moon boots on, they call it, you know what I mean, to strap it up. It's not right yet, but I'm able to use it anyway. But it was kind of a close call.
And everything worked against you.
Oh, yeah. But,
You were saying if the farmer might have checked on you, but you would have been hours later?
yeah, if he probably would have seen my, I guess I had the log truck there. I can't remember. I used to leave the log truck down there to pick up. And he probably would have come looking for me.
Yeah. So if you hadn't figured out how to fix that,
If I could have gotten out of there, I'm sure I probably would have lost my.
yeah.
I'm thinking anyway.
Anyway, with the bleeding, you might have gotten
Yeah, well,
worse.
the bleeding was probably more me. I mean, I was bleeding, but I don't think it was. I was going to bleed to death. I just got a little nervous there. It was enough that you see blood all over everything. You think you're going to bleed to death, but you're not.
So does that make any of you want to become lawyers? I'm glad I sit at the desk. Sonny, you got any stories that you're willing to share? Hopefully not as that.
Not where I got caught like that. No.
Yeah.
He was a little smarter. He's smart enough to get out of the way.
Well,
It's all about being very smart.
did you ever tip over trucks? I'm sure that's a common enough thing.
Yeah, I took over my little GMC up here to come out of the plant with the load logs onto it. And pull out on the thing over here. I was going to take the load logs over to Poland Mill. And I can't remember now if I had too big of a load on or if I turned it a little too sharp going up the car. My load went over on the other side of the state highway there down in the ditch. That's where my lights ended up. And I had a toolbox all over my truck. You couldn't go without any tools. So I had a whole box of tools over there on the seat. And that fell out against my shoulder and my head, and I thought it would knock me out. So that was the only And I haven't been right since.
Yeah, I think those calls are just about a part of this story as well. Now, logging is pretty solitary. You both in these situations, you were both on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you still? I mean, Bill, you're still going out, but you go out with someone.
Yeah, I got another guy helping me.
Okay, so but typically a lot of this logging would be done on your own.
Yeah, I did a lot of logging. Well, Sonny did do it for quite a few years long.
Yeah. This is the days before.
He couldn't get anybody that, dumb enough to.
This is before GPS and
Oh, yeah.
or messages to find people or anything.
You had to send out smoke signals to get found.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's not a good time if anybody has some questions for these gentlemen.
Sonny, did you ever work for West Virginia Pulp and Paper? For your dad?
No.
Yeah, those are the people in the 40s that.
Yeah, I was in a, where was it? Up to about.
Because
Warriors, yeah.
Irene Mowers told us a story when she lived up on the Plant Road, that they had the huge pulp piles and they were so
Oh, they did,
big
yeah.
that when they shifted, it would actually shake her house.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, it looked like mountains.
Really?
Yeah. They had conveyors that would take the pulp up and kept piling up and piling up. Then after a while, they had the train here. And then they'd load the pulp on. I don't know if it went to Mechanicsville or what, somewhere else. But my father used to haul from Pleasant Lake. They had a thing there in the lake where you come up with a trough with a conveyor, like a conveyor belt, and then it would carry the other one would carry it was a high, and it would carry the logs to each truck. And I think they had like 4 or 5 chutes to that way, so had 4 or 5 trucks at once. And when he got loaded, it was the short stuff, 4 foot pulp. And when he got loaded, I think 6 or 8 tiers that he would put on this truck and haul the mechanics out. I rode down there with him once, to the mill, but that was about all I remember. I was riding in the truck with him. They had a big camp out there with a lot of guys working.
Yeah, we had some pictures in the exhibit from West Virginia where they used Pleasant Lake as a staging area.
Yeah.
So the lake would all be filled up with logs waiting for the roads to be good to get them out of there. And then they'd bring them down through, I guess, to Jersey Field and then use what used to be the old train path.
Yeah, I don't know just exactly how they're going.
And they had their camps with their, some of the pictures we had were massive. It looked like they could bunk hundreds of people and they'd have a big cookhouse. And they'd bring all, talking about keeping trucks running like that, they'd have machine shops and everything you need to keep your trucks
Oh, yeah,
running.
they did.
And stables and blacksmiths for, for the parts that are still done by horse.
Yeah, they cleaned some of the truck drivers. I don't think they had a place for tires here to put on tires. But the guys were taking over, it seemed like Johnstown, they had a place over there that they could all go over there and get new tires put on their trucks. And after some of the tires got wore down, the trucks were new to begin with. But after a while, the tires were getting scrubbed up. And so the drivers would take them over there and change them and get brand new tires. Then they'd steal some of them. Sometimes all the trucks, well, not all of them, but quite a few trucks ended up with no tires on. I don't know if anybody was ever caught for it.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of scoundrels around. We have stories of people logging on other people's property, and it was, especially in the 1800s and early like that, it was like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
There was a story of Wheelnap, who I guess was a turn of the last century, around 1900. He bought some property in the Jerseyfield area and started logging it. And somebody came to him and said, "Hey, this isn't your property, this is the state's property." And so the guy apparently had sold to Wheeler without owning the property. Wheeler not only had to pay fines for that, he also had to reimburse the state for the logs that he took out.
Yeah.
So, again, there were scoundrels around. Any more questions from anyone out there?
Yeah, I grew up with a Nagel family, and one of the children told me that their father, John Nagel, drove truck for your father, and he drove the log trucks to Cleveland, Ohio. I don't know if you know anything about that or not, but I couldn't get that substantiated by anybody else. I'm wondering why they would ship it all the way to Cleveland. He said he would not work for very long, but he drove log truck for your dad, and he took the logs to Cleveland. And he said he did that for quite a few
Yeah,
months, I guess.
no, I never heard about that.
Maybe it wasn't.
Well, it probably, might have been before I got here.
Oh, sorry, yes.
I was wondering, what did you do when you stayed there for a few days? Did you have somebody that cooked for you, or what did you do?
Well, out here to Pleasant Lake where they had the big pulp thing, the loading thing. My father had to buy tickets for us. He was out there. I think that's the time I went with him on the mechanic stuff. But anyway, it was around noontime and you want to get something to eat. And they had a dining cabin or whatever you want to call it. And they had tables set up with benches. And every, like either 3 people on each side, 3 guys, every, like 6 people, they had their own individual setup. And then the next 3, they had their own, like the potatoes and the gravy and the meat and whatever was involved with your dinner. It was all, that's the only thing I can remember about eating in a log cabin, you know.
Yeah,
The rest of
because
it,
you hear about the cooks that worked in the logging camps.
yeah, it was hard to get cooks.
Yeah,
We had a cook up in Jerseyville. His name was Johnny, I think. He was Japanese. And that's what they called him, Johnny the Jap.
He cooked in the box there, did he?
Yeah.
I can remember Buzz up there hunting with my Uncle Ted. The buses, that's your dad was gone
Yeah.
out of there. The buses were still there. I think one of them was still there.
I know John Stetcher was telling stories about his mom cooked for the crew. I mean, it's only family members doing it as well. But it's, there were definitely family members that pitched in on these things. These were family affairs.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Bill, you're still working. Can you
Yeah.
share what like a typical day is for you? I mean, nowadays?
Well, it's been pretty short day lately. We don't work as hard as we used to.
That's why you got help too. So.
Yeah. He's a part-time help. Now when he shows up.
Easier way into retirement.
Yeah, I guess so.
But is your day, do you have a typical day or just?
Oh yeah, we usually start pretty early. I usually leave about 6:30 in the morning and get on the job around 7. All depends how far we're going. And, yeah, I work probably till like 2 o'clock. Used to work till 4, but now it's 2.
Yeah.
Some days are even less than that.
Well, one thing we were talking about before is how the technology has actually made it more efficient. I mean, 1 or 2 people can get done in a day.
Yeah.
What would have taken you, 3 or 4 days before.
Yeah, true.
So,
But you need 3 or 4 banks now instead of just 1
Yeah, that's right.
with that equipment.
Yeah.
You're talking, $500,000 for 1 piece of equipment. You gotta have 4 or 5. So I mean, you gotta do the math too hard,
It's,
You can be in debt so far that you'll never get out of it.
it's
And,
good for the big companies, but for the individual, the
Yeah.
small outfit.
me and Sonny both have seen a lot of them come and go.
Yeah.
I thought they was gonna make it.
yeah.
Guess we
Didn't realize.
kind of lucky that we survived. I know.
Didn't realize how much hard work.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times we kind of thought, well, want to give up and maybe do something else, And,
So, Bill, you've talked to me a little bit about how you actually like the older technology.
oh yeah.
Not as nice things to say about the newer equipment, how environmentally unfriendly it is.
Well, the machines are so big today that, gosh, we do a lot of small woodlots, and gosh, the machines are like 10 feet wide, and you smash down so much.
Knock down half the woods.
You know what I mean? You destroy more than you'll gain, you know. We try to select a cut most of the time, that's what we do, you know, because try to give the younger stuff a chance to grow. A lot of jobs I've cut 3 times,
Yeah.
3 or 4 times, as far as that goes, over the years, you know.
Are they naturally reforested or?
Oh, yeah, no, naturally.
You don't have to,
No, it'll treat itself.
Yeah,
If it gets too thick, too overgrown, then it won't, you know what I mean, it's just like a garden, if you don't weed it out,
yeah.
sunlight doesn't get in there, then you'll get a lot of dead trees, but one good thing today, you've got a good firewood market, where you can get rid of a lot of the dead trees, you know what I mean, so nothing really goes to waste like it did years ago, you kind of took the best and left the rest in the woods, you know, in the top, but everything kind of goes now.
Bill, do you have any stories that you can tell in public about working with Arnold?
With what?
Working with Arnold, with Sonny's dad.
yeah, but they're all bad.
The bad ones will
Well, no, I just, he kind of got me started, really, in the, logging. I learned a lot from him, and Sonny, and Sonny's brother Dean, used to be around them guys quite a lot, and they taught me quite a lot. But as far as working with them, I never worked right around a lot, you know, just help them out once in a while. They probably would teach you more than anything else, than me helping them.
You know about that.
I learned a lot from especially his brother, Dean was a very good mechanic on the skidders and stuff. I mean, he could take them motors apart and Detroit motors and winch that actually that part clean all over, but you get them back together. I think he kind of liked it, just like your dad, his father. I think he enjoyed it when something broke down just so he could fix it. Oh, he,
That's a skill
Yeah,
to
I always
have.
said if you could add a couple of years of mechanical engineering, or teaching, you know, that he would have done great mechanical.
look how he worked with for years, never had any torches, with hammer and chisel. You know, pound.
And then every once in a while, well, he'd miss the chisel and hit his hand.
Yeah. Remember he had that piece of screwdriver in his hand? I said that he was up there fishing in Canada. I said, Arnold, what the heck's that black on your hand? I said, I knew there was a piece of iron in there. Well, he said, screwdriver broke off there years ago, and he said, it's never bothered me. You could see it was a pretty good sized dark spot there. Oh, he was a character.
In addition to the Moore family, one other name that came up with a lot of the interviews I did were the Helgeline family. And they seem to have been very helpful for all loggers around here. I was wondering if either of you had interaction with them?
Yeah, I sold them logs at the sawmill. Something I'm sure sold them over here.
So they had the sawmill out towards Stratford.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had logging crews in the wood, off up that way, you know, towards Johnstown and so on. And they had a good business there at one time.
Did they have something down here as well in Salisbury? Were they part of like the what became the Rawlings mill there? Somebody told me that. I had never gotten to verify. Sound familiar?
Rawlings here in the Dowsing Mill.
Well,
Yeah, but they had something up here in Salisbury as well. But I
If
thought
they had
it
one
was
up here, the plant road, but I never see it because it was before my time.
maybe that was it.
That was Harper, I think, Willard Harper's father,
Oh, yeah.
son over there. Because Lee and my grandfather sold him logs.
Oh,
I don't know just how they got the logs from out of there down here to the mill. I don't know if he ever had a truck or anything, but that's what my father told me, that he sold logs.
Uh-huh.
Lee sold logs to Willard's. So that was, and I know there was a big concrete abutments up there that would hold the carriage, you know. It was down on the ground, you couldn't hardly see them at that time, but that told me that, yeah, at one time, something had to be here. Didn't know. I don't know much about it.
We ended up deciding that we were just going to do the loggers and stop it and not even bother, because the mills in this area is a whole nother story that should be told, that needs to be told. Any more questions out from out there?
The price of logs, how has that helped you or hurt you over the years?
How
I
that,
know different logs bring different prices, different times of the year, but, you know, for you guys, I mean, you're talking $500,000 worth of equipment, you gotta cut a lot of logs.
Yeah, well, with that new equipment, you can cut a lot of, most, where these big outfits are doing, they're cutting a lot of pulp. Pulp is probably the biggest factor now.
Pulp.
Whereas,
Really?
there's only two mills left in the New York State, International Paper in Ticonderoga and Glens Falls, you got Finch Prime, that's the only two, but they're big. They finance loggers, but they're, I mean, that's where you see a lot of these tractor trailers, that's where they're headed. It's not, you don't see many with good logs on them. Some.
So they'll take anything? 'Cause
The pulpwood,
It
yeah.
has to be softwood then?
No, most of it's hardwood. A lot of it's hardwood.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Used to be years ago, it was, you know, spruce was a big deal but now it's a lot of hardwood. I think a lot of it's going in the cardboard, you know, everything's China. And it's all cartons, everything's cardboard, and it's packaged. That's where a lot of this is going. It's your better logs, the high price wood is getting exported over to China on the containers.
What's your step on?
But just like years ago, was cherry was the big thing. Now it's cherry
Water.
not worth it. Your lower grade soft maples are worth more than as much as cherry,
So,
Really?
and it's
you can go ahead, I'm gonna go.
so hard maple and ash is probably about the best thing right now price wise. And the price has been down on that. It's coming back a little bit.
I didn't hear you mention oak. Is that,
But we don't have a lot of it around here. You gotta get a little farther south. Oak is pretty good right now.
Are most of your current clients for pulp or?
No, I don't do a lot of pulpwood because I don't have the. You more or less gotta have set up with a tractor trailer to haul it that far, or hire somebody. And the trucking takes a big bite out of it. Pulpwood's not a big money deal as far as the value. So I either try to do the better logs and the lower grade stuff will be in the firewood. You know, then I can deliver it myself.
in other words, when you pay the landlord for the pulp and the trucker to haul, there ain't much left on you. So,
All's left is a lot of work.
Well, at least you've got the trucking in the family with your, was it your brother?
My uncle, he was probably, you know, first, and then my brother, but he got in the, he's still trucking. He got a couple tractor trailers. Then I got into
But you don't
the,
get a discount.
what's that?
You don't get a discount.
No, I think he charged me more than most.
Well, this has been great. I think I don't want to keep up more of your time. I just give you a chance if there's any, like Sonny, are there any stories that you fondly or don't fondly remember
I
about?
got a million up here, but I can't get them out.
Okay, we'll have to do it some other time, and we'll get you primed for it. You can start taking
I
notes.
remember one story that, you remember, it was Dick Murphy. I don't know if anybody knows remember Dick Murphy or not. He's dead and gone now. He used to drive a truck for his dad, and haul for him too. But he was up there, and telling me he was up in Jerseyville, and he was up there. I was staying in the buses there, and he said about 2 o'clock in the morning, 20 below night, he said, we hear old Arnold getting up, sticking our little Welsh chums, room the road, freezing it in so they could truck. And that's when you had to do it when it was cold. You don't get them winters anymore. He was, he said he'd be out there. I remember him saying you'd go out to see him about daybreak, and he said, with them mittens on, he looked like a statue. Still going. Well, he was tough guy.
You had to do it because
Oh yeah.
gotta take advantage of the weather.
Would you ice down the roads? Is that how you do it?
No, you just take the bulldozer blade and just push it off. Just the steel on the bulldozer. It'll harden. It's like a concrete road.
Okay, so but slick.
Yeah.
Any more questions or last questions for our friends here? Well, thank you so much. This has been great. You got a recording of it, so we can
Yeah.
be part of our history. These stories won't go away. I want to thank the Grange for giving us this beautiful space to use, Charlie and Nora, and the Historical Society. There's a lot of work that goes into events like this and like the show we have over there, and all different kinds of people working on it. And of course, thanks to you two for coming and sharing this, both in the exhibit itself and also here in person right now. So,
Well, thank you I think you've done an awful good job.
it's a
You
great
did
story
a lot
to
of
tell.
work, a lot of research.
Yeah, it's a great story to tell, and it's great for the community to keep these stories going. So I'm glad we could sort of shine a light on your sort of business for at least a little while.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you.
Great, well, thank you very much.